What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going through KAOS versus AGURIN. This is the best player I have coached, might ever coached. Alright, stop the glazing. And basically everything KAOS knows about Talon is because of how I play Talon. I'm insane at this champion, bro. And yeah, he's against AGURIN in this game. Pretty standard stuff. Let's just get into it. Pathing top in this game looks the best because it's Riven with Ignite and he has a TP bot lane with a Bard. Very passive support. Don't really know why the Bard has Ignite, but anyway. And yeah, it's a pretty passive bot lane, right? Double TP, Bard support like FF. Like, how are you going to get a kill there? It's not Nort, Alistair, it's not Pyke, Draven, Kalista, you know, those champions. Pretty easy for KAOS to start Raptors here. We don't have to worry about lane invade, Ziggs, and kind of trash. And he has an Ezreal PTA, which is like a good defender. So anyway, KAOS is going to start Raptors. I'm actually going to forward this as well. So he just goes his bot side here, right? That's all he does. Can he dive bot lane? No. Can he gank mid lane? No. Horrendous. Can he kill top lane? No. Full HP. So there's no ganks here, right? So I want you guys to think about what KAOS does next. Lots of Talon players here are probably just going to hit their walls, right? And they're just going to clear. What KAOS ends up doing is just based on the knowledge he has that AGURIN is probably going to path to a particular lane in this game, just like he is. So if you think about neeko, if you're jungling as neeko here, right, here I go. I'm going to path towards, where would you path? In my opinion, it should definitely be Renekton because it's a hard-winning matchup. And even though Riven has Ignite, Renekton's done into a neeko E, like, it just sounds so good, right? So the likelihood of getting a kill top lane is a lot higher than it is bot lane here. So KAOS knows this, or he's ghosting. So just because, again, just based on the knowledge that if neeko isn't doing this, by the way, so let's just say KAOS runs in here and however he does, and these camps are gone. Oh my god, these camps are gone. Then we just ping bot lane, right? To be careful. And we're kind of chilling because we can still come back to our camps. It's not like we're losing anything. Okay, we lose a little bit of time. We lose like 20 seconds, all right? I get that. But we're still going to be able to do this crab at like 350, 355, and then come back to Raptors. We're not losing anything technically. We do lose time there, but we're still not losing anything in the grander scheme of things. So it's even worth here just investing a little bit of time just to check neeko's top camps, because if you're pathing top lane, I'm going to ruin you here. I already have prior top because my Riven's done well. She has Ignite as well. So let's use this. Now, even if mid lane here was getting absolutely dumpstered, the point here is that you're not really invading the enemy jungle on their Raptors because they will be gone. So if you actually clear properly, like those Raptors will not be there. So what you're really kind of aiming for is these two camps here. And if AGURIN is smart, he'll go Raptors to Krugs because well, first of all, it sequences both of them. But also, this is a legit invade. Like, this can happen. So whenever you are the weaker, well, I guess you are the weaker jungler here, but whenever you're pathing towards a lane that doesn't have prior, whether it's bot or top, so let's just say that Talon did this, right? He went blue, Gromp Wolves, or Wolves, Gromp Blue, however. So he's gone from his top side to bot side here. As you're crossing through your bot side of the map here, you should be thinking, is my bot lane getting dumpstered? If that's the case, you need to be very careful about hitting your red buff because the enemy jungler, if they start top side, might do this. So it's actually a lot better to do your Raptors and then you come back to Krugs and then you can come back to your red buff. If the enemy jungler is sitting in that brush, you have 20 CS against 12. So even if they pressure you off your red buff, it's not the worst thing in the world. You're one camp away from 4, which I'm pretty sure this crowd would give because you have Gromp and Krugs, which give you more experience than buffs. So you're still going to hit level 4 and happy days, right? And the enemy jungler still needs to farm all his camps here. So that's how you would play, which is exactly how AGURIN plays it here, right? And I've talked about that clear in multiple videos. KAOS here knows that AGURIN might know this. So AGURIN might either do the camp here. I'm not sure how neeko's W works. Send her W off like this maybe, or just do the Raptor camp over here so she has vision of this potential invade area. But KAOS, because he's playing Talon, is not just going to do that, right? He's actually going to use his E, which vaults him over terrain. Well, just remember everything you're seeing here he learned from me. So he E's over. Notice as well how he goes directly down into this brush instead of up like this. What's the difference? So the reason this is different and a lot better to this one is the fact that if you go here, good junglers will stand here and do their red buff. The reason they will stand out here and do red is because it opens up this area here. If you do it around this corner, you are blindsiding yourself, even from someone standing here. Reason being is because if I put a champion here and draw a line, there is a wall, there is terrain in between them. If I put a champion here and a champion here, there is a brush in between them. So if there is something in between or along that line between champions, they will not see each other. So if AGURIN was to do his red buff here, he's kind of trolling. He will not see the Talon until Talon is like here, which is way too late, right? You're in Q range, you're going to lose HP, etc. So if AGURIN's smart, he'll do this out here, or he will just put a ward down as he moves up like this. So that's the other option he has. So let's see what KAOS does here. And that's why he goes down, by the way, as well. So he hugs the wall as long as possible to give himself the best chance of staying in the fog. All right. So when red buff is up, you might be like, especially in lower elos, by the way, If you were in like gold elo here, bro, the neeko is probably just doing raptors, honestly. But thankfully we're in higher elo, so I'm just going to talk about this specific elo. AGURIN is obviously very good mechanically, and that is the big difference, by the way. If you guys think he jungles perfectly, like he jungles really well, but the big difference between him and other players are his mechanics, like spacing, how well he knows enemy champions, just general mechanics on the champs he plays. That's what I'm surprised about when I watch him. Not surprised, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what I notice more than actually how he jungles. How he jungles is just how jungling has been for ages. But how he plays those champions, like he's going to be 10 times better on Kha'Zix than a Kha'Zix player in Master Elo, for instance. Anyway, let's get into this. So because red buff is up here, now we know that AGURIN is probably doing this clear, right? Where you leave your red buff here as bait almost, and you do your Krugs. So we're going to hit 20 CS after this, and we're going to come down, and maybe we can check this brush, throw a Q in, whatever you want to, throw your W in, happy days. Oh, Talon's here, cool, okay, I'm just going to run off and wait for him. Maybe you even do this or something, right? And you're chilling if you're AGURIN. But KAOS knows that he's going to be on Krugs here. But I think KAOS makes a little bit of a micro error here because what he ends up doing is warding. Why do you think I would bring this up as like a little error here? So think about it. If we want to attack AGURIN on his Krugs, what's the point of it? The point of attacking his Krugs is to either damage him or to take the Krugs. Or both of them, right? So if that's the case, this ward encourages AGURIN to run off. In other words, to separate space from us. So if we're going to ambush someone, if you ward before you E, even just before you E, you're probably giving them a little bit of, hey, look, here I am, bro. You might want to just back off a little bit type thing. That's the message you're sending. Rather than Eing like this and just kind of estimating that they're going to be here, right? Because AGURIN clearly is going to come back to his red buff here. So if that's the case, KAOS can almost preemptively E over, knowing that AGURIN is probably going to be in like this box doing Krugs. And if he's over here, you might be like, Eagz, but what about if he's over here? Well, if he's over here, then it's the same thing. If KAOS wards here, he's still going to run off. So I think the ward is a little bit of a mistake. And he E's over. AGURIN smites this, by the way, so neeko gets this. So KAOS misses it, unfortunately, but it's kind of whatever. Because what's going to happen afterwards, like, AGURIN can't really contest red buff, especially with top lane looking how it is. Mid lane can definitely move over, but yeah. We'll see what happens here. So KAOS throws his W out. AGURIN kind of trolls here a little bit, getting hit by this. His W2. I mean, I think it's fine to get hit by Talon's W2 there. But his spacing here, like, Talon just jumps onto him. I don't know why AGURIN is auto-attacking. KAOS probably knows he's trying to auto-attack the Krugs here. But losing this HP, if he was this HP, by the way, he might be able to contest red buff afterwards. But this here, getting chunked like that, KAOS Q autos, gets his passive on him. But this is where you really need to finish this off. So you've started this, and we've clearly done well. Now it's time to finish it. Even though he lost the big Krug, there is no way that neeko gets anything else on the map here. That's what should happen given the HP. Red buff, no red buff. Red buff is still sitting here. Hopefully KAOS can get this as well. I don't know that Yasuo is moving here, but again, you have Prio top and a really strong top laner. So let's see what happens after this. Also, just one more thing on Talon. When you are playing Talon, it's very important to know how to use your E over terrain. So this terrain here, right? This is a big as wall, but KAOS is E like this, remember? That means that there's a very good chance that some of this is available to him, if not everything, to the left of that line here. So if he was to E over like that and hit the neeko, that is gone. Like, that's now gone. And this part will be red as well. Like, all of the wall will be red there. So whenever you're Eing over walls, try to E over from the sides of the walls because you'll be able to get in and out. Let's continue. So KAOS E's out. And he knows that Yasuo is moving here. But remember, the environment or the surroundings that existed when we invaded the red buff initially are still kind of here. Right at top, we know that we have red buff. And we also know that AGURIN doesn't have red buff, but it is up here. So the likelihood here is that neeko is going to try to farm red, even though she doesn't have smite. Even doing red buff here is kind of risky for the neeko player. Yes, there's no reason to back off here, right? It's just a Yasuo running over. We have heaps of vision here, even if Yasuo sees us run off. Like, he's just missing experience mid lane. So this pressure, what it's doing is almost just like rippling across the map, right? So for Syndra here, you'll see that Syndra was, I don't know if she was struggling before necessarily, but the Yasuo running off here and just leaving the wave, I guess like Yasuo wants the wave to push into him and he has to respect the Bard roam anyway. But this gives Syndra just kind of free reign mid lane to farm, to get prio and stuff. As long as KAOS doesn't troll, right? And he's actually aware of Yasuo. Lots of players here might just be like, oh, let's run in. Let's, you know, start the red buff. And also all of a sudden Yasuo comes over and then he gets stunned. And yeah, he'll start moaning about the Yasuo roam and mid diff. But it's not. You still have to respect the map, right? You can't be ignorant of your surroundings here. You have to know what you're running into. Also, when Yasuo hits the Scry Orb, so you guys would have seen this, the Scry Orb comes up here. And obviously they know that KAOS is here, especially the Yasuo, right? But now he's back mid lane. We're back to where we were when we initially invaded. Let's see what KAOS does. So he's going to E over this wall. And you can see how he's gone 1, 2, 3. So he's got 3 E's here, bro. Lots of inexperienced Talon players will just get like 1 and maybe they do this. All right, 1 or 2. But you need to exploit the terrain, bro. Remember, he does not have an E here. So basically, you're trying to attack this thing from fog. So like a bit of a wide angle and then bang, straight over. Remember, you're trying to stay hidden before you E, which is kind of what KAOS didn't do here with the ward. But anyway, let's watch. Remember, AGURIN used Smite too, right? So KAOS has Smite, AGURIN doesn't. He takes red buff here. Gets in the brush. We see neeko down here, 300 HP. What would you guys do here? Quick think. What would you guys do? Look at the mini-map. Look at the time. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Right. If you guys click towards this top crab or your top side, you're trolling, you're going to be clamped. You go bot side here, you go bot crab. Where's the neeko going to go? Think about neeko. Answer that question. She's going to go bot crab. Woo, the talon's top. Let me just come down here. Oh, hang on a second. The talon is crossing through mid lane. Now I can't get this. Okay, let me go back here. What's stopping KAOS from doing this now? What's stopping him from going crab to crab? GG, right? You're going to be so far behind. So neeko here, AGURIN actually just ends up basing here. So KAOS does this crap. But if you're doing your top camps there when you have that much of an advantage, like triple the HP of the enemy jungler, you have red buff, they don't, and you have prior mid, a roaming support, you have all this action and activity, I guess, on the minimap, and you don't use it to not farm camps in the middle of the map or on the enemy jungler's side, there is no way you're going to like climb. These conditions here that KAOS has are so good, and remember, he has kind of like made this happen. He's made the prior mid happen, and this allows him now to put more pressure on neeko and to take camps that she might want, whether it's her red buff, maybe her krugs, he took like maybe half of them, the crab, and again, we can think about doing double crab, because again, neeko might just run straight like this. She could also possibly take our top camps. Now, in this elo, I don't really think that will happen too often, but in lower elos, people or junglers will get very emotional and go like full kamikaze here. So they might just run straight out like this. Also, the fact that Yasuo is holding top, you might be like, oh, if he's holding top side of mid lane here, maybe the neeko is running out like this, or she's actually kind of like faked her recall here, and now she's doing the crab. So I think KAOS, just going through mid lane here, the top crab is great. The only thing you have to think about if you're KAOS is that these are at 4 minutes. So we're getting a little bit detailed here, aren't we? But I think this is good. If KAOS runs through mid here, right, and ganks and does this top crab, then neeko, if she is based and is running out of base, she might be like, oh, KAOS is clearly going top. Let me do this. Because we know the talon is going to start on raptors here, right? Because he invaded me with his red buff, and every talon player likes to start raptors. This might be the same if you're playing any AoE jungler, right? They like to start raptors. So 4 minutes is going to be the raptor timer. So if KAOS does this move, and he does the top crab, it's going to be like 4:10, maybe 4:15. So these raptors are going to be there for 10 seconds, and that is maybe enough time for AGURIN to take them when he's running out of base, or if he did in fact like stay on the map. But if he stayed on the map, that top crab will go. So let's see if we can tell what AGURIN did here. So KAOS is going to gank mid lane. You can tell how before, if I rewind at 15 seconds, pretty passive, right? Like nothing's going on. Remember as well, this Yasuo saw KAOS run through mid to this bot crab, and the bard is on a roam too, and has been roaming the entire game. So it's a little bit difficult for this Yasuo to fully engage, especially when his jungler's in base, and if he does, it's probably troll. But anyway, we have to react to what the enemy champions do, not what they should do. So KAOS is going to do this crab. He's going to push it towards mid as well, which is definitely correct, because if he's thinking of double crabbing, obviously we want to finish this camp towards our next destination. So we're going to push it towards mid lane, and we also have a bard here. We can also see the Yasuo doesn't have passive. Even though this guy has flash, it just looks like a free gank because it's almost on the way. So it's like a little drive-by to where we really want to go in terms of jungle here. So yeah. Thankfully, though, because it's bard, we end up getting his flash. And here you might be thinking, why does KAOS not do this? I understand that this Yasuo looks really killable, and he doesn't have flash. Yasuo has passive, and he also might have wind wall, which I think he... Well, if you don't know, you have to assume he does, right? So I'm just going to assume the Yasuo has wind wall here. And against Talon, it blocks his passive. So if you think of Talon in his W1, W2, and his Q to land, so before level 6, of course, he needs every ability to land to use his passive. Yasuo guarantees, or his wind wall guarantees Talon not to land his W2. Guarantees it. So without passive, you're not really a champion. Those are like the main points why he probably won't chase that. The top crab is good, but I actually think KAOS makes a little bit of a mistake here. So in my brain here, as soon as I see this here, I'm thinking, right, okay, so AGURIN has not done this. So he hasn't like faked his recall and stayed on the map here. And he obviously hasn't ran here out of base, because we would have seen him around here, right? Helping the Yasuo, potentially. So if he hasn't done this top crab, what might he do? Remember, KAOS is running through mid and giving away information. Hey AGURIN, I'm doing this top crab. Why didn't you think about running down here? So if I was KAOS here, I would be pushing this crab. So I'd let this keep running. I would go like this. Maybe you can queue onto it, it's fine. But I'd probably actually just wait until it's below me here, because sometimes this crab in particular, like just loves going up towards top lane. And then you can come down to raptors and protect them. And you might be like, oh my god, these are so far away, bro. It's 10 seconds, relax. It's like the same distance to walls, man. Or almost, anyway. But yeah, it's well worth it. You're protecting your raptors from the enemy jungler who knows your top side. They should also know your raptors are up. And therefore your krugs are going to be up too. So if you were to go like this in this game, and you do your top side here, Terrible. You're going to lose your bot camps against good junglers. And in this game, I'm kind of surprised AGURIN didn't go for this. So the point here I'm making for KAOS is that I think here he should push this crowd down and just book it to his Raptors. And you would just do Raptors, Krugs into a recall. You run towards top, maybe even neeko's top side, especially her Krugs, because you'll have the timer for them. And they were a little bit delayed because of the fighting that was going on. So that's what I would be thinking here. Push this crowd down, Raptors, Krugs, base, bang. Happy days. But unfortunately, KAOS pushes it up. And you can kind of see how he was shaping to E down. I think he would go to his Raptors here. It's just a little bit annoying. He has to redo the crab. A little bit of a fight happens mid. Now, whenever you see this, I'm really reluctant as a jungler, and I'm sure KAOS is and anyone is here, to help shove a wave, bro. Shoving a wave or helping a laner shove a wave is like the most excruciating experience ever because you're sharing experience and you're also just showing yourself. And it's especially annoying, when you have something else to do in terms of jungle camps. So KAOS should really be thinking about booking it to here. That's what I think anyway. But because mid lane is like this, he should honestly probably go mid and throw out a W and just help her out a little bit. But he does give up a little bit of pressure to neeko because he could have stayed in Fog here rather like this. And then E over here. So if neeko was on Raptors, he might be able to get her flash just for free, really. Especially if Bard moves over. So yeah, just be a little bit careful about that doing in only your games, like just showing on waves, especially when you don't have to help them shove. But Syndra being in there, he might as well try to help. I don't really agree with KAOS hitting this. I think this is a bit of a waste. Again, just Raptors ASAP, this ASAP, into a base and get here ASAP. That's what I'm thinking about. Do you think KAOS base is here? If yes, why? If no, why? But why would KAOS base after Raptors here? The main reason is because look at the time in the game for me. It's 5:30. Well, by the time he finishes these, what does that mean? Well, if you base and you run back on the map, it's going to be 6 minutes, like perfectly, by the time you're at Grubs. 30 seconds is what it takes really to get back to the middle of the map or around that time. So if it takes 30 seconds to get back to the middle of the map, if we recall at 5:30, it's going to be perfect for Grubs. And we're going to get there with pickaxe, longsword, dirk, whatever he wants to buy, right? If he stays on the map here and clears his top side, he's going to be fighting Grubs' jungle item, jungler. When other champions in the game as well, I can't see the scoreboard because of Riot Games. But other champions in the game, I think Renekton has a pickaxe. And if he runs over, he might even be level 6, right? Because laners hit level 6 at 5:30. If the Yasuo is level 6 with Berserker's Grease, even if the roaming Senna comes over with 2 longswords or something, and I'm just a jungle item jungler, sounds pretty troll. And you can't contest them, right? Even if neeko is based. Who doesn't sound like the strongest early game champion in the game. But anyway, hopefully you get my point here. So basing is a must, bro, at this time in the game. If I did this quick enough, I would be thinking about Raptors and the neeko's Krugs. But because this is happening, now it makes it more difficult, right? Because AGURIN's running out of base, the Renekton's already going to run out of base, and Riven is dead for 15 seconds. So Renekton's here first, probably with prior, and neeko's now running out. So KAOS here, in this situation, he could do walls for level 5. He could maybe even do Gromp, Blue, like whatever camp here for level 5. It doesn't mean anything because it delays his Grubs start timer, I guess, by 10 seconds. And by that time, it's going to be like 6:10. So here he has to run to Grubs. Bard ends up roaming over as well because he's got an Ezreal with TP. And KAOS wards over here in case he thinks AGURIN might be running through here. So I think this is a good ward. Also, Renekton might like randomly E over and stuff, right? And neeko comes out of nowhere. So yeah, KAOS does the Grubs. And when we see AGURIN here, it might look a little bit weird. But we should know this. Because before he would have had like maybe 32, 36 CS. And the only camp that's up for him are his Krugs. So when we see AGURIN here, also by the way, like it's important, KAOS in the chat, I think. Let me just show you this. Ping that neeko has no flash, so did the Riven as well. So neeko no flash here. If you have any sort of CC and she gets hit by it, it's 100% a kill because Talon has passive and I think he has pickaxe longsword here. So those things have to be on your head in terms of micro, right? You can't just like run to Grubs and hit them, woo, jungle macro, and then run off. No, you have to know what might happen. KAOS ends up doing these, and then we see AGURIN here. There's a ward in here. Thankfully, Riven put a nice juicy ward down. The Bard is here as well. This will just happen in high reload as well, by the way. So if you're playing in lower reloads and your support's not here, well, maybe ping them to be here. If you know your AD carry does not need support in terms of like, you know, they're not going to get dove if the enemy bot lane knows their support is roaming. So let's just say that, you know, the Senna and Ziggs know that Bard is roaming here in their bot lane. They can't really dive the Ezreal. You know what I mean? It's not Draven Nautilus. And they kill the Ezreal and Draven gets super fed. It's not worth it, right? So if you don't need your support here, ping them off. If you do need them here for a potential fight, like both of you are running out of base, ping them here. Ask for assistance. This will just happen in Challenger, though. It's just almost like automatic, and you don't have to worry about it. So Bard's going to E over. AGURIN won't see this as well, because again, this is not warded. There's a control ward here. Pretty standard. KAOS unfortunately doesn't have W, which is a little bit of a shame, so maybe we could talk about that as a mechanic, but if neeko doesn't have flash, like, it's just a free kill, right? And when you have your ignite onto her, there's no way she's escaping. So yeah, free kill on AGURIN, and from this point, it should be GG. Now, I actually don't know what happens after this, so this is kind of exciting, mate. Are we going to guess the right moves here? So let's continue. So KAOS is obviously going to do this scrub, and If I was KAOS here, I would definitely consider recalling and running to my bot side, because I know here that his Krugs are going to spawn in like 30 seconds. So if we think about it, remember basing and running to a camp is 30 seconds. So in terms of jungle here, when AGURIN doesn't have flash, KAOS is obviously stronger in terms of items. If he can make something happen against AGURIN, he definitely should, whether it's blue buff, Gromp, walls, even just protecting this side, right? Remember, AGURIN should know here that KAOS is going to do the grub, obviously, right? So Talon is just on the grubs. But also his bot side is going to spawn. But even if he has a longsword here that he does have, I would probably still recall, because you can just do Krugs, Red Raptors, and then maybe you can run in here, something like this. So I think doing top camps here is maybe a little bit of a waste, because again, it's giving AGURIN potential to run in here. And I guess you have a roaming support that can always cover it and stuff. But they've got center here who can move over and stuff like that. So my brain here is just thinking, don't give him anything. Like, that's just my brain. And I know he can recall for a longsword because he got gold from all the grubs and from killing AGURIN. So if I was KAOS here, I'd honestly probably just recall and run like this. Even though it looks really excessive and he might not have to, it's just the fact that, look, I'm not giving you anything. And also, I talked about this in one of my videos where you match the enemy jungler. And he jungles against a Shaco player who's obviously running like this. And Griffin's like a lot stronger than him, just like KAOS is here. And Griffin decides to do his top camps while Shaco runs out here level 6 and gets like 3 kills on his bot lane. And he's just stuck farming Gromp on walls. Same thing here. Like, just because Neeko's going to be here, I'd definitely be thinking, first of all, like, can I actually kill her here? Maybe no, because mid's not going to have prio, bot doesn't have prio and stuff, Bard's also over here. All right, so maybe you can't invade, but what's stopping her from doing this? Like, nothing really, right? So my brain here is just thinking about recalling longsword and just run to Krugs. Let's see what KAOS does though. Yeah, I think doing blue is honestly a mistake. And remember as well that I talked about before, and this is just my opinion, but I talked about before how doing Raptors and then Krugs was better. So in my brain, I've already kind of like programmed it to think Raptors are spawning, or have already spawned, they would have. So again, like after grubs, I would just think about beelining it here. Raptors, Krugs, into red. That there doesn't need a base because it's so close, right? Like you running to Raptors, it's so close, but running to Krugs, the timing between you running to Krugs and just basing from here and going to Krugs is very similar. But you basing and then running to Raptors, that's 30 seconds. What's the distance there? That's like 10, 15 seconds max, right? So that's half the time. And it's not like you're basing for an Eclipse. You're just getting a longsword there. So very important distinction. But I actually think Crab is bad here as well. And all of this, bro, is just revolving around that concept of matching the enemy jungler. If you add the Crab onto your existing clear here, so let's just say the Crab's not here. You know, let's cancel that out. KAOS is just going to go like this, right? But let's just say that's his clear. He's definitely going to do like blue, Gromp, and walls. But we know that neeko might do this, right? So the more camps you add to this, the more time it's going to take, right, to do them, and the more time you're giving neeko to take as many camps from your bot side as possible. Now, I don't know if AGURIN does it. I haven't watched the rest of this game. But if I was like live gaming KAOS or playing myself, I would probably just do blue, maybe Gromp walls into here. Like if I'm going to stay on the map, that is. So if I'm not going to recall for Krugs, I would probably just go blue Gromp walls because I'm farming. That's what I wouldn't even worry about this Crab because it means nothing in this game. What means something is losing even potentially that, losing your bot camps and stuff. And KAOS will be level 6, I think, by the time he gets to bot side. So after he does these, so he camps these level 6, bang, let's go. Like, let's match you, neeko. What have you got? Like, what have you got for me? What are you going to do against 45 extra AD Talon and he's level 6? Like, let's go. Let's see what you're made of. So yeah, I think this is a little bit of an overextension here, just doing the Crab itself. You see that KAOS' Krugs are spawning soon as well, so he would have been there like at the perfect timing. Even just starting red buff is fine as well. See how hard this matchup is as well. So even if like Riven does well early game, Renekton just kind of hard stomps if Renekton knows how to play it. This is, I think anyway, just a big loss in terms of time. Because AGURIN here, I don't know what AGURIN's doing, but let's have a look. Okay, he's farming his camps FF. Let's actually go back and look at this from AGURIN's perspective. Let's have a look here. Because again, remember, after this hit, we don't know what Talon's going to do, right? So Talon is clearly going to do grubs, I'm saying. But after this is what I'm saying, right? So after grubs, what is the Talon player going to do? Is he going to do his top camps, or is he going to recall and cover his red buff that's spawning? So if you're neeko here, it's very difficult when you spawn to maybe actually run in here, you know? Very, very difficult indeed, because the Talon player might do this. I think doing blue buffs is fine, but after this, I would really think with your prio mid and your prio bot here, I would definitely think about running in here. And I'm surprised he doesn't. Also, the fact that Talon has like so many camps up top. So you might be like, oh, but Eagz, you know, you told the Talon to recall and run here and they'd meet. Well, yeah, they would meet. How is the neeko player going to die when she has double prio? You know what I mean? So I think like doing Gromp here from AGURIN's point of view is actually just like bad. He should definitely just run into Talon's bot side. If Talon's there, it's whatever. Like he should have kind of the awareness to know if that might happen or not, and the positioning when he's doing the camps, like whether he does it here, around the corner, Senna comes in, Yasuo comes in, like he should be protected to do that invade. I think that's what should happen in this game. Let's continue though from KAOS's perspective because he ends up winning this game, so we'll watch from his. Yeah, a little bit annoying here, not being able to kill the Renekton, and Renekton also dodged his W2. If he hit his W2, he would definitely kill him here. But yeah, we talked about how Crab is an overextension, and yeah, a little bit annoying for him. So let's continue. Ends up farming the wave. Of course, you would farm the wave here because there's so much of it. Recalling is good here. KAOS here obviously knows that time is of the essence here because his whole bot side is up. But I'm saying that even after Grubs, he should probably know that his bot side is going to look like this very soon. All right, that's like a minute later. But red buff is up. Krugs are going to be up very soon. And then obviously after Krugs, Raptors. So he should know that this picture here is what he's really playing for, which is like kind of what's in my head. But now he's potentially losing like his whole bot side, right? Which is exactly what AGURIN is doing. I just think AGURIN should do it before hitting Gromp. So he does it like when KAOS actually shows top. I think he should just do it because the activity of his champions is great. Bard is also on a recall. I'm pretty sure he was anyway. So when you see an enemy support top and your support's bot, this support might recall and run here. Even if they run straight down, your support can filter through. He had prior mid as well. And Syndra used ult too, by the way. I forgot to point this out. Syndra used ult on AGURIN here, up here when he died. So Syndra no R, my Yasuo has R, even though he can't really use it with anyone, apart from Ziggs W. But hopefully you get my point there. I think this should have happened before his Gromp. So he would have already finished red buff, and now he's maybe doing Krubs, even potentially diving bot lane. Potentially, I said. It's not always going to happen because KAOS can just recall and run here, which is what he's doing. You see KAOS pinging here that, you know, Renekton might be here, or not Renekton, sorry, but neeko might be here. And the funny thing here is that I don't even think KAOS should really run to his bot side because he's so late here. I think KAOS should just run straight like this. I think doing bot camps is kind of troll. We'll see what happens. Like, even just running here, honestly, like, even just checking these camps, I think is a massive waste of time. Rugs don't mean anything, by the way. If you think, let's just say that you knew these two camps were gone, right? So these two camps are gone, yeah? And you might be like, right, what do I do now then? So I got Krugs. Woo, let's go to Krugs. Yeah, get some, you know, best experience out of the jungle camps. Woo, get like almost 200 gold. Wow, I'm so happy. No, bro. That has to be the move. You're giving up Raptors and red buff. Krugs don't do anything. Now, if you're going to tell me that the neeko is going to run like this, I would just say fair play. Again, that is just both junglers playing at the highest level. If neeko decides to hit Dragon here, I think, honestly, it's really troll. Like, really troll. And I don't know what they actually do. So I'm guessing, like, AGURIN after red buff, knowing that Talon should recall after this top wave, I think AGURIN should just go like this and cover his top side. Dragon is such a waste of time. And even if he goes to his top side, right, Talon might do something like this and does the drag. Who cares, bro? So I'm going to dictate a game here. At 8 minutes, getting a dragon doesn't impact your team at all until like 20 minutes, right? No one cares about dragon. It's like augments and TFT. You do what is best for you at the moment, not what's best for you at 20 minutes. How do we know a game's going to go 20 minutes? You've got to do what's best for you at the moment. Not what's best for you at 25 minutes in an ideal world. It's solo queue as well, remember, which is less organized than pro play. So we don't know what's going to happen here. So if AGURIN decides to do red buff and then do drag, I think it's a massive waste. He should just go like this. Or he should base and go like this, depending on his gold. If he has significant gold, he can definitely recall and run here. If not, though, if he's only buying like Amtome or something, to definitely just run straight to his top camps. Like we're talking about for Grubs, right, with Talon. Just run straight down here. You don't need to recall to cover Raptors. So if you're covering Raptors from a drag from this side of the map, just run straight there. If you're covering your Raptors from Grubs, just run straight there. You don't need to base. Yeah, and KAOS makes completely the right play here. Just runs to neeko's top side. And you see like how the neeko is now, or is it neeko pinging? I'm not sure who's pinging, but someone is pinging like top side here for red team. And this is where I think like AGURIN should be. He just did the dragon, right? So whether that's like 25 seconds, he would easily have done this camp and now he's moving up. And you might be like, oh, he would have died to Riven. Bro, are you joking? Like if he dies to Riven here, so he's going to see the Riven doing this? He's going to die to Riven, is he? So he just takes Raptors, and maybe he can test this. Senna moves up as well, right? Maybe the Bard moves up, and all of a sudden we have like a 3v3, 4v4 situation, and it's up to kind of each champion there in person to, you know, kind of ask themselves, do we win or not? Do we actually take this fight on? And if he doesn't take this fight on and Talon takes all this, then he can even come back down to Dragon. You might be like, oh my god, you know, his pathing is going to look like this, right? So he's done Raptors red, back to Raptors, and then he's like, oh my god, I've just seen Talon enter here. Oh my god, the Riven is running. Oh, right, I can't do this. Now I come back. That is 10 times better, bro, because if Talon doesn't do this move, he gets all of this. If Riven doesn't do this, he gets all of this, right? The only thing here as well to consider is that Renekton used his ultimate to kill Riven earlier. Riven didn't. So that would be like a big advantage the blue team has. And Syndra has her ult back up. So again, this is like just trying to assess the activity of your champions, what they contribute to a potential fight. That's what you need to know. You need to be able to see all of these ingredients and then pops out the recipe. We win. We lose. Whatever that is, if we win, do it. If we don't do it. Don't even risk it. There's no point to, right? But yeah, KAOS makes completely the right move here. Just those Raptors, wards, easy, takes his whole top side, can even take Krugs as well. Don't think Renekton is in this rush because he has it watered. So happy days, right? And guess what? He lost Raptors red and a drag. I got your whole top side. I'd much rather be the Talon here. So again, I think if AGURIN was... Well, I just think AGURIN should just run like this after his bot side. But anyway, after Talon's bot side, that is. He can potentially kill this Renekton. I think it might be a little bit difficult if the Renekton is 1v2ing, honestly. Although KAOS does have Ignite. Okay, even if Bard wasn't here, I still think they kill. But with Bard here, 3v1, it should make it really, really easy to do this. Not sure where AGURIN would be. I'm pretty sure he's going to be bot side somewhere, right? I don't think he's like lane ganking top or anything or counter ganking this. So my guess would just be like AGURIN's bot side somewhere. Maybe he's killing like Ezreal or looking to kill him. So I'd probably ping here if I'm KAOS as well. Look, I'm guaranteed like making a play here, probably getting a kill. Can you please relax, Ezreal? Don't die. So again, if you know you're making a play somewhere or on X side of the map, ping the Y side of the map. Ping the other side of the map to be careful. And if this doesn't happen, it's kind of whatever. But yeah. Again, we're not making any play bot side, right? So this still happens, right? Even though you've shown, the pressure is on Neeko here to cover this. And if she doesn't cover this, she's got to kill the Ezreal, right? So one more time, I'll just be pinging the Ezreal to relax. And if Neeko does not show here in the form of a minion, whatever she can, I'm just going to kill Renekton under tower. They should also know this guy doesn't have flash. And if they see, though, I'm sure they do because they would have pinged it later in this game there. So Talon ping the Renekton flash. So KAOS knows this, which is great. So Renekton no flash. This should just be like a free kill. Even if he has ult because KAOS has Ignite, right? So let's see what happens. So he's going to help shove. Bard is to the right here, which is why KAOS can do this. If Bard was over here, KAOS might want to come around here. But yeah, Bard just being here is really helpful as well. Again, in your games, like if you're not in this elo and Bard isn't doing that, your support, like running the grubs, ping them, communicate, bro. Help your teammates out. Elevate their play. All KAOS has to do here is just wait for a Riven stun. That's it. Probably just WR, right? WQR, whatever, Ignite as well. GG. And one more time, I would just ping bot, just to relax. If I was playing as KAOS here, I don't actually know the grubs timer, so I'm just going to go back so I know what the grubs timer is. Okay, so it is 10:40, right? 10:40 is the grubs timer. So when we kill Renekton here, 10:40 is the grubs timer. So in my head, grubs are an option. Obviously, doing this crab is good, but I would also be thinking about maybe potentially protecting these camps too. So when he runs out of base, when he was recalling here, right? When he cleared that top wave, maybe it was like 7-8 minutes even. So let's just say it was like 8 minutes. That Raptor camp is going to spawn at like 10 minutes or close to it. Like that's what I would just be thinking is. So if Raptors are going to spawn at close to like 10 minutes here, I might even consider just doing this crab and running straight down. Because again, what is Neeko's play? It's that. That's the only play she has. And because you're strong here, even if he doesn't have ultimate, you've got your mid lane there active, your Bard can run down as well. It's just a Neeko too, like who cares? You can cover your Raptors hopefully, and he has smart as well. So I would just kill this and honestly probably just book it straight to Raptor. You might be like, oh my god, but he has walls and potentially Gromp next. Like I don't actually know his Gromp timer or can't remember it. I'd probably work it out in real time, but that's what I'd be thinking just one more time. Like just covering off the enemy jungles like play so they have none on the map here. See what KAOS does. Also here, like, they might dive bot as well, right? But because they know that they don't just go top, like, they might dive bot. And this should happen, by the way. So I don't know where AGURIN is in this game, but diving the Ezreal has to happen. So when you see this here, if you are red team... Where is AGURIN, bro? Is it a Neeko thing here? I can't see him, mate. Where is he? Is that him there? Oh, that's him there. Oh, he's recalled, bro. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm not sure about items and stuff here. I'm also kind of annoyed that he's turned into a wolf. So he turns into a wolf. His whole top side is gone. He runs mid lane, and now he's running around. Okay. This is quite questionable. There are two things here that he should be doing. He's got two options. What do you think the two options are? We know, right? So play as AGURIN for me. This is, you know, back when KAOS is doing this, right? So KAOS has ran out of base, AGURIN's taking his bot side, and here's KAOS taking his camps. The first option is you try to cover Renekton here, which I think is the best move. Why? Because he is doing well. Level 8 versus level 7, it's a winning matchup. He has his ultimate. Honestly, like, they might even be able to 2v3 if they play it properly, and Neeko, like, you know, they change CC off Renekton's W. That should be good. especially if center runs out of base like this, right? The other option is you play bot lane and you try to kill the Ezreal, which is what I was talking about, right? Like if I don't see AGURIN top, that's really weird to me. So surely then he's killing the Ezreal, but it doesn't happen on this live. So recalling here is really bad because something is obviously going to happen here. And it doesn't matter if he has Proto Belt or whatever he buys, Rocket Belt, whatever it's called. I don't care what the item situation is here. You have to stay on the map because it's way too active. Recalling here is because, oh no, both of you are full cleared and there's nothing to do. There's nothing spawning. So let's just recall and run to our first camp again. No, bro. Like this map is way too volatile just to stick your base here because clearly you're losing your top camps. The talent's going to be level 6 and Renekton is pushed up with Prio and ult. Lots of champions, bro, or players, I should say, when they are in a strong position like Renekton, are very reluctant just to like wait 60 seconds for you to get back topside or to get a recall. Like you should be playing around the Renekton here is clearly doing better than the jungle. So you play around me, you protect me, and you make sure that I win this game for you. So AGURIN recalling here is a massive blunder and just like gives the talent on blue team just a free kill when it should never happen, you know? And these pings are fine too. But honestly, like I'd be wanting this almost to happen and, you know, maybe like Neeko sitting here. And you might be like, oh, what a massive waste of time. What else is she going to do, bro? Like where are her camps? She's got nothing to farm. Nothing to farm. So it's either you run here and maybe sit in the brush, or you run down here, like from where she was, sorry, and you kill the Ezreal. It has to be on this life, because if you don't do that, KAOS is going to have the time to maybe kill your Renekton and get here as well. He'll cover both sides of the map, which is awful if that happens. And I'm not sure where he is because I can't see him. But yeah, this is the move he needs to make now, but he should be making it like earlier, bro. Like he should have done this already, like killing the Ezreal or being here for Renekton. So it's a big waste of time. And KAOS, like I said, can now even cover bot, right? So now after doing this crab, if you do your top game so you're trolling, it's Raptors, Krugs, like just this. Which is what we were kind of talking about before, right? Like, I'm just thinking about Raptors 10 minutes or close to that time, even Krugs. And if they do end up diving bot lane, because here I'm thinking KAOS is, or AGURIN, sorry, is either here, or he's covering bot. So which one is it? Is he here? No, he's not here. Oh, he has to be doing this then. So either KAOS can, like, immediately recall and run here, but he's got Crab right here. He's got Raptors soon. So this is kind of like a nice line towards bot. I'm not going to talk about mechanics here, but yeah, KAOS being in this position is definitely the right play. AGURIN has flash right, so KAOS can never W. If you were thinking of Wing here as talent, it's terrible because Neeko's just going to flash you, have to Q. If you Q and then you W, you give yourself the best chance of hopefully landing your W2, right? Unfortunately, they're just out of range, so it's a little bit unlucky, but they blew so much, right? So you might be thinking, oh, this is a really good play and stuff, but they blew all their flashes. It's really not too bad. Talon's picking up the wave as well, and it's not like they get anything after it. So let's just say Talon wasn't here and he was farming his camps that lots of junglers would be, and red team gets that tower or gets the, you know, because they have Ziggs as well, I'm guessing they would get this tower. That's really bad. Like, that is kind of consequential. But them just killing an Ezreal under tower and Talon gets all the experience, like, no one cares, really, honestly. Like, they blew so much for that ult and stuff, and for grubs, like, Neeko doesn't have ult and flash, and KAOS might, or he'll be closer to R. Yeah, I think this is actually, like, even. This isn't even, like, too bad. If they dove when I was talking about, like, if it, instead of, like, recalling mid lane, which is so passive, if he dove the Ezreal when this was happening, they're not going to have to use flash or anything like that. Maybe the center has to, but Neeko won't, and they'll definitely kill that Ezreal without anything really happening, right? Honestly, I'm fine with him picking up this wave. I also think, like, he's not going to lose grubs in the near future, but after this wave, I'd probably definitely recall and then just run the grubs, so let's see what he does. Also don't know his gold value, which is annoying here. So if he has Eclipse already, he can definitely think of just going like Raptors into here. Can I tell if he has Eclipse or not? Yeah, unfortunately I can't. So if he already has Eclipse and enough gold, he can definitely just do Raptors into here, which I'm fine with as well. But if he actually had a big item, he can easily recall and just run like this. Or if he had a big item, he can recall and go Raptors grubs. That's what I would do. So if he has a big item here, recall Raptors grubs. If he does have an item already and he doesn't need to base for anything, Raptors into grubs. No reason doing walls here, no reason doing Gromp. Yep, absolutely correct. He can even potentially check this if he wanted to. Like, have a little bit of a look at Neeko's Raptors, but it might be a waste of time. You know, like, if they are gone... Yeah, it's kind of whatever. So, grubs are good. Ezreal has somehow killed the Ziggs as well. Let's go. Big. Neeko's over here, which is... kind of good for blue team, just like knowing that. Riven with Pride. Riven doesn't have ultimate though, that's the only thing. So when Riven doesn't have ultimate here, you kind of have to be a little bit careful. But remember, AGURIN doesn't have flash, AGURIN doesn't have R, KAOS does. So it's kind of like evening itself out here, right? But Renekton Neeko still you have to be a little bit careful with. If Renekton has Fury W, that is. And KAOS just gives this up. I'm actually kind of not sure why he gives this up. This easily, I should say, because he has Smite. I guess he's like losing HP. Yeah, I'd probably stay on these. Honestly, like, I would actually stay on this. Because AGURIN doesn't have R or Flash, so I'm really surprised KAOS just runs off like this. And I'm also sure, because I didn't see him E, he always has this just to run out and E out if he has to. I'm surprised he gets off this as easily as he does. And he has Smite too. Yeah, so like now he kind of E's over. I don't really like this too much because he uses his E on a wall or part of terrain that might be important for him later. I also don't know if he has this corner now because he E'd over like the middle. If you E over this, you'll definitely have that back. But because he E'd over the middle of it, I actually think this whole terrain might be like just gone now and red for him. So I don't really see like the point in that. I would have just like stayed on grubs because you don't care about no R and definitely no Flash neeko when you have R as talon. So now he does this. Yeah, I would have just stayed on this. Also, Bard was roaming up like this, so... I'm still surprised KAOS runs this far back, man, honestly. Even though neeko, like, has this warded, I would just be looking to even do them here and just E over, right? Like, that's the access point to top, because after this, when your support's here and there's this bot, just another thing as well, by the way, just about macro here, guys. Like, when your support is 3v1ing or potentially 3v2ing, you almost, like, have to make this play happen because you're going to lose something bot, right? Whether it's Tower or Ezreal dying. I guess Eagz has died, but hopefully that makes sense, yeah? So, the next play for KAOS is either diving Renekton, which would be great, or you just come back to your bot camps, or top camps, sorry. But even if you're going back to your top camps there, this is still like an option. You're not going to lose that much time, right? And it's a potential like 300 gold killing Renekton, and you'll get tower as well for Riven. So it's huge here. Like if you can kill Renekton here, it's massive. So I'm kind of surprised KAOS does this in a very passive position here. I'll just be doing them up here, Wing, and yeah, happy days. And if neeko wants to throw out a random combo, like no one cares. Like you're going to dodge it anyway, so no one cares. He ends up recalling here as well. Yeah, okay. I think recalling is kind of bad. I would definitely be, if he has E's, just going through like this and just coming here. That's what I would be doing. And if Renekton is still here, like that guy is so low, right? So if he bases, he bases. But if AGURIN is here, you just kill him. The same thing here. I'm kind of surprised that KAOS doesn't actually look for this. In terms of like, now coming here like this. And even if they do baits, bro, like, again, you can still come back. You can even recall there if you want to. Like, it's whatever. But your bot camps aren't spawning, so you would just be running top. Doesn't really make much sense. So if you're ever, like, just recalling and running to the same side, you might as well stay. So if he does this move where he, like, E's over, right, and he comes through here, oh my god, they're not here, just run back to crap. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that 10, 15 seconds, you potentially getting 600 gold, maybe? It's well worth it, right? And then you just come back anyway, so it's whatever. Grab is good. What's he recalling for? Is he recalling for drag? Or maybe he has item? I think recalling is probably fine. Depends on his red buff timer as well, right? Because you kind of want to be bot here. Same thing, right? Like, I actually think this recall is good just because we know neeko's running here. So it's like the concept we've been talking about the whole time, just matching enemy jungler. And remember, neeko has no ultimate. She used it top and she still has no flash from this dive bot lane. It's not going to come up in that space of time. So we know now that Talon is so much stronger. So KAOS, if he does this, is just great in game winning. Let's see if he does it. KAOS goes are running out of baits here. You might be like, oh my god, but you said about invading neeko's bot side because we know that's where she's going to be. Yeah, for sure. And I actually think that might even be better than like going mid here. Him just covering mid when it's cannon wave. Honestly, like, I don't even know if going mid is actually good. I think he should just run a neeko here. Like him getting that wave. If Syndra is, let's just say that Syndra's 1 HP here, right? And he recalls. I think KAOS like kind of has to cover mid lane, kind of like he did top, because no one's getting the wave, right? So if no one is getting that mid wave there, him getting it is definitely good for blue team, right? You have to play as blue team there. You're just going to lose too much gold. So red team is getting all of these minions and plates, and you're not getting anything. So I think he has to cover it. But Syndra will be here in a kind of like quick time. Like there he is. So I actually think here KAOS should just run in here. Their bot lane is dead. neeko has no R and no flash. KAOS should definitely run in here, and he is playing Talon as well. So you've got so much terrain here to work with and possibly kill the neeko and push her off her camps. I think he should definitely do that. He might be like, oh my god, Eagz, but what about if Yasuo runs down? Well, he has a mini map. You know, like, it doesn't just mean you're going to die. You can just E out, give yourself an E out, and happy days, right? Also, like, Bard is still healthy enough to do this as well. So if Bard was 1 HP, maybe it's riskier. But with death timers nowadays, bro, just run in. Just go and kill that neeko. Like, that's what I think he should do here. And now, because he's decided to do this for 20 seconds, now the opportunity's just been gone, right? Like, neeko now has her blue buff, also level 9, higher level than Talon. So she definitely has farmed her bot camps, right? I can almost just, like, feel it by looking at her here. All you're playing for here is blue team is, I don't actually know if Dragon is up. I don't know the timer here, unfortunately. But all you're playing for here is blue team, I think anyway, is just like this. And if I was Chaos here, by the way, I wouldn't do Raptors. So here you might be thinking, Eagz, you told me before when he was level 4 doing this top crab to come to Raptors, right? Or after the grub, I think I said. That's because he's going to recall afterwards, right? If you're going to stay on the map after your bot side, ideally, how would you clear these camps? You're going to go 1, 2, 3, right? And then you come here. Because I think Talon here should just be playing up here now. If that's the case, he should just come to Krugs here. Red, Raptors, and then he can do this. If you go Raptors, Red, Krugs, you've got to come back over yourself almost. Which kind of looks similar, but it's definitely cleaner to do that. And more efficient, right? So he should actually just start Krugs here and then come back up. I really wouldn't care about Dragon here. If they want to get second Dragon as well, it's not going to change your game. But me killing Renekton will. Me taking your whole top side will. Yeah, I'm really surprised Chaos based it here. If I was him, I'd definitely be going like this and then bang. Also here, you probably know you're losing Dragon because... Oh, never mind. They just got it. Sorry. Yeah, so like here you should know, even back here, that you're going to lose drag. Your bot lane double killed, which means your bot lane, unless they recall straight away, are not going to be here, which they aren't, right? And Syndra also used her ultimate. So you're fighting against Yasuo, Neeko might have ult back up. And I just don't know if we get drag there. And my champions are so far away. So if you know that you're losing drag, you have to make that action happen while they are doing this. Which is why I'm saying this is like really important pathing where you go to Krugs first and you go out to in. Out to in is always the best as long as you know you're not losing Raptors at any point, right? So there might be some games where you run out of your base early in a game. And your Raptors, oh my god, you know, they might be doing this. So you got to run the Raptors first and you got to do them first. That's fine if you have to. And then you come back to Krugs and then you have to come back like this. That's fine to go over your own footprints there because you are protecting Raptors. But when you don't have to worry about your Raptors like Chaos here, go Krugs and go out to in. And then we can kind of like naturally stay on the map. And while they're doing drag or as they finish it, I'm hitting Renekton. I'm taking your top camps. I'm starting Rift Herald. And they won't have any time to protect those things, right? So you have to be reacting to what they're doing in the moment. You can't do it 30 seconds after because that's way too much time. We also saw that with AGURIN, which is basically what I was saying. When he bases here, while that's happening, like he has to be on the map doing this. Like these two things have to be happening at the same time. Otherwise, you saw how close it was to Chaos covering that. And he got AGURIN's flash. All of them had to flash. And yeah, it's actually like still fine for blue team there. And Chaos got the waves. So if they killed Ezreal and Chaos is top, they get that tower, like I said, right, with the Ziggs. So same thing here. Chaos should actually be looking to go like this here and stay on the map. He has to make something happen here because he's definitely losing drag. Unfortunately now, if he bases, the red team can potentially send resources to Rift Herald and stuff. So I think all this should be gone and Renekton should be dead here. Or if Renekton doesn't die because he's like this, at least Chaos is like taking his top side. Maybe he starts Rift Herald in another game. So I think him being bot doesn't actually do anything here. I think this is a little bit of a mistake. And yeah, guys, I'm actually going to call it because that's like an hour-long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Don't be sure. Bye.